The city of Peterborough is looking as alive as it once did pre-2020. Almost all elderly are double jabbed and are feeling ready to reintegrate into the town centres to enjoy a cup of coffee. Pubs, clothing stores, high street shops are back open and are ready to start with normal life once again. Although we are all moving on with normality, posters, signs and notice boards regarding COVID-19 are still prominent amongst our streets. I'm here today at Peterborough College at the Media and Journalism Centre to talk to students about how they've dealt with this pandemic and if they see a clear future after a very foggy year. Jasmine is a third year photography student who's an old friend I met on my media course in my first year. She's let me speak to her today so I can get to know how she personally has dealt with the effects of the lockdown.
I started making bracelets because I got so bored. Dyed my hair. I pretty much did anything you could think of, including a bit of college work. Currently studying photography, and I just started level 2 and now I'm in level 3. And all I basically did over lockdown was go to a local place in my town and just take pictures because that's all I could do.
A survey conducted by Young Minds said that 80% of respondents agreed that the coronavirus pandemic had made their mental health worse.
It was just such a drag, honestly. It kind of led into a small depression, I guess. It wasn't crying every day or anything like that. It was just the motivation of, do I really need to get out of bed today? Because there's nothing to do because everything's shut, can't go anywhere, what's the point in getting out of bed?
41% of young people said it had made their mental health worse, from up to 32% in the previous survey in March. This was related to increased feelings of anxiety, isolation, a loss of coping mechanisms, or a loss of motivation.
And then the anxiety hit when things did sort of open, and I was just absolutely terrified to see anybody and everybody. But me and my mum really suffered because we were just in each other's way all the time. And it's just, no matter what either of us did, it'd probably end in an argument. And that's why I almost ended up just living in my room.
I wanted to know if the events of the lockdown had any effects on the students' plans for their future in education.
During quarantine, I dropped out of A-level, so I don't think if quarantine hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't have realised it's not what I wanted to do. So I wouldn't be doing journalism right now.
It's affected me both positively and negatively. Positively because it's given me time to actually think about my career path and ambitions more. Negatively because obviously you're stuck inside. It's going to have something to do with your mental health, just being stuck inside all day, so yeah.
I mean, it's been harder to get in touch with people, and we have to do interviews as part of our primary research, and all of mine have had to be over a phone call, and it creates kind of a bit of a barrier.
Even the online classes I found harder to actually communicate with my tutors more, because I feel like that has a big part to do with improving my work.
The impact that COVID-19 has had on everyone's mental health in the past year has been very hard to deal with, but it's safe to say that it's especially hard for students who are uncertain of what their next steps are and what paths they want to go down, especially in their last year of higher education.
Yeah, honestly, because from the age of 14, I actually wanted to go to uni, and I was looking at different unis and planning on going different places. Then the pandemic hit and everything just went online, and the things that I heard from other people who are older than me and younger than me, and it just really put me off. Yeah. I don't want to go anymore. Yeah, to be honest, at this moment, my age group is they're supposed to be at their peak moment. They're supposed to be going out partying, doing anything and everything they can, and a few people who are a little bit younger than me should be as well, and we really did get the short end of the stick because, no offence, but people that are working still got paid and it was okay, And for us, they were just like, here's a computer, do some work, and that'll add to your grade. And it was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm doing this now.
You all did online lessons, didn't you? Like with the Google Classrooms and stuff.
Honestly, I thought it was like just a big waste of time, because like we'd have our main like lessons on Thursdays and we'd have our online on Wednesdays. So all it ended up amounting to being was just him checking us up on us and like seeing if we were getting along with our work. We weren't really learning any new content as if we were like in an actual another day.
It's really hard to learn new content when you're online because if you have any concerns, it's easy just to, stick your hands up in a class and ask. But when you're on an online lesson, it's a little bit more like they have so much information that they want to throw at you. You don't feel like you have a second just to absorb it all.
Also, like, you can't bounce off your classmates, and there's like less of a social aspect to it, which I think really helps us as students, like develop our work and our ideas, talking to other people around us.
All students had to go through the pandemic during their education, but there were pros when it came to adapting to the new ways of learning. Could you go into depth about how it's made you think about your future? And
I mean, I've been looking up some apprenticeships, and from all that, Nick, my tutor, has recommended a BBC apprenticeship, and I've applied for it, and I'm just waiting to for them to get back to me, and fingers crossed I get into it.
I think mine's clearer because like it kind of makes you like more introspective and think about things more deeply. Because now I know I want to like go on to do journalism at university, and I've been looking at different courses for that and stuff because I've had the time to be able to look into these things and kind of slow down a bit. So yeah.
what measures have been taking place in your college that have made you feel safer?
The weekly tests they make you feel a lot safer because now you know that, at least now you know you're negative or positive, where if you were asymptomatic before you had no idea, you could come into college and you could spread it and you had no idea you had it, and it's a weird thought that we didn't have that before.
It's so like invasive.
I know. The mouth isn't so bad, it's the nose.
It's the nose part.
Oh, it makes me
Some of the steps that have been taken in the past few months are things like coming into college more than once a week. This gives students the opportunity to get more days of education in and not constantly being online.